Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome back to another episode of the Nam Phan JMMA Show. I'm here with the legendary Yves Edwards, the Jiu-Jitsu Master. Yay! And then making a Rush Hour 4, guys. Yay! Chris Tucker, Jackie Chan. Yay!
So you're the funny one this time.
Hello, Mr. Yves. Please introduce yourself for the people who don't know you, sir.
Yves Edwards.
Yeah.
I fought mixed martial arts for 17 years, from 1997 to 2014. Fought in most of the promotions, the bigger promotions from my era, and smaller ones also. Everything from Hook and Shoot and King of the Cage to Shudo, the UFC, and Pride. So yeah, that's who I am.
Next question. How old were you and how did you start in martial arts?
I don't remember exactly how old I was. When you say how did I start in martial arts, I kind of started martial arts when my uncle brought home a Betamax cassette tape of Enter the Dragon. I was 3 years old. And, saw that movie, and there was a scene where I think James Kelly, was it Jim Kelly? No, the white guy. I can't remember his name. I can't remember his name right now, but he did a kip up. I started doing that at 3 years old. And I was always in love with martial arts. I'm from the Bahamas. We didn't have a whole lot of martial arts in the Bahamas. I mean, there was a lot of Shotokan, karate, and whatnot, but I did that for a little bit there. I moved to the U.S., did some traditional kung fu, and then in '93 the UFC happened, and I saw that. In 1993 the UFC happened, and I saw that, and I kind of fell in love. I was doing traditional martial arts. I saw Jason DeLucia in the UFC. I was training Praying Mantis Kung Fu, and that was Jason DeLucia's style. And I saw all these other guys, and every fight ended up on the ground. They were doing this weird wrestling, dashing kind of thing, and I didn't know what was going on. And then Jason DeLucia came out, and I'm like, oh, this guy's Praying Mantis Kung Fu like me, so we're gonna see some cool kicks and stuff now. And he threw one like wheel kick, and then they tied up, got the guy's back and choked him out. And I was like, oh, maybe this wrestling thing, there's something to it. So maybe I have to go pay attention to that. And I started seeking it out. Finally found some things, and that's how I started. I started mixed martial arts, or my introduction to mixed martial arts, when I was 18.
Excellent, awesome. Next question. How did you first get involved in the Japanese mixed martial arts scene?
Japanese mixed martial arts. Man, that's kind of hard to answer, but I'm gonna try. Back in the early 2000s, late 90s, Shudo was the big deal for guys my weight. You know, even some of the guys at 170. Most of those guys fought in Shudo at like 167. It's in kilos, and I can't remember the exact conversion, but it's like 167 and change. So that was the next weight class up. But those weights from 167 and down was really, really big and strong in Shudo. How did I get involved? Hook and Shoot was connected to Shudo, and I started fighting for Hook and Shoot.
Indiana, right?
Indiana, yeah, that was in Evansville, Indiana. Jeff Osborne and Miguel Iterate ran that promotion. It was one of the bigger promotions, and they formed an alliance with Shudo, and I think that was my entry into the world of Japanese mixed martial arts. And then Shudo brought me out to Hawaii to fight Ruben Asado. That was my first fight against somebody who I looked up to, you know.
Super Brawl?
Super Brawl, yeah. That was the Super Brawl, and they were connected with Shudo also.
Sure.
TJ, what's TJ's last name? Why can't I think of it right now? TJ Thompson. I know a couple TJs. I was thinking of TJ DeSantis, TJ Wahlberger. No, it's TJ Thompson from Hawaii. He brought me out there for a Shudo promotion to fight Ruben Asado. I was the first guy that I admired, I looked up to. And then fought Kado Uno in the UFC, and then I believe after that UFC fight, Shudo brought me over to Japan to fight. I almost said Takanori Gomi. It wasn't Gomi. It was Tatsuya Kawajiri.
Damn, that's a good one.
Yeah, so I fought Kawajiri
the champion
Shudo just before he won the title.
Nice.
And then after that fight, came back to the UFC And when the UFC dropped the lightweight division, Pride brought me over, and I fought in Pride a few times then. So that's pretty much the extent of my Japanese MMA, but man, it's different over there.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Well, that's a good extension. That's very good. Thank you, sir. What do you think of the current state of Japanese mixed martial arts and its future?
Current state of Japanese mixed martial arts. I like what Ryzen's doing. It's really exciting what Ryzen's doing. It has that Pride feel, and that's just, it's very different from the way mixed martial arts is here in the U.S. I like the ring. I like how quiet the arenas are. It reminds me of Pride. The whole atmosphere of it is very different. So it's good to see that their culture around the sport hasn't changed with the explosion of mixed martial arts. But at the same time, the athletes, the Japanese fighters, I feel like they're a little bit behind the curve now. Especially in the lighter weights, the Japanese used to be strong from 170 pounds down. And right now it just seems that they don't have the strongest styles. With the exception of Kyoji Horiguchi, who's training a lot at American Top Team, and he has that he's adapted that American style to his style of mixed martial arts. So that helps. And when I say the American style, I'm talking about the wrestling aspect of the game too. That's a big deal, and a lot of the Japanese fighters, they're comfortable in fighting in the grappling department. But it seems that their styles are so much more jiu-jitsu based than mixed martial arts based, in the fact that some of the positions they're in, they don't fight for underhooks, things like that. It's strange that they haven't adapted to some of the changes in mixed martial arts. But I mean, Japanese people are smart people. They're not going to be behind the curve for too long. I believe the sport will survive in Japan, and it'll grow and it'll thrive, especially with what Ryzen's doing. Like I said, I really like what Ryzen's doing. They make me think about wanting to come back and fight over there again, just because Japan is probably the coolest place I've ever been to, for real.
Yeah, Japan's fun. Next question: who inspired you as a fighter?
I had a couple inspirations. There's two guys really inspired me, and then there was a couple instances that inspired me. So, like, the two guys who really inspired me were Bas Rutten and Jose Pele Landy. Those two guys. I love Pele's style. I don't necessarily think I tried to mimic myself after him, but I think the styles were kind of similar. He was Anderson Silva before Anderson Silva was Anderson Silva.
That's dope. Yeah.
Pele was the man. I really liked his fights with Macaco and Joe Gil de Oliveira. Yeah, he was one of those guys. And then Bas Rutten also, with his aggression, Bas's style his kickboxing was really good. He was creative on the ground. For somebody who didn't really have a jiu-jitsu or grappling coach, he was really creative, and he had a lot of success because of just being inventive, being intuitive, his ingenuity. That was fun. For the era, it definitely worked. And I learned a lot from Bas too, and he's a great person. I met him early in my career, and he kind of took me under his wing a little bit. And then there's one instance that kind of really inspired me. There was this fight I was watching. It was a Pankers fight with Vernon Tiger White.
Oh yes, I love that guy. That's dope.
He was
Lions
fighting,
Den.
right? I can't remember who he was fighting. It was a Japanese opponent, but he'd used both of his rope grabs. He was losing, and then the third round happened, and he just turned it on, got himself a finish. I believe it was by knockout.
Nice.
And I'm laying there on my couch watching that, and I roll off of my chair. And I was young. I was like, I don't know, like 18 or 19. I rolled off of my couch and I got on my knees and I was, God, please let me have fights like that. I would beg. I just wanted to have fights like that where it's like, where it's some adversity and I'm losing, but I just come back and pull it off. You know, that kind of thing. So that was inspirational. Yeah, I don't know, Boss, Pele, and then that specific instance with Vernon White, that inspired me too. And also Vernon inspired me a lot. I mean, he was the first black guy that could do everything. You know, he could wrestle. His kickboxing was good, and you would expect back then. You would expect the black guy to be athletic, maybe have good kickboxing, but then when it hits the ground, he's lost. Nah, not Vernon White. He was comfortable, and he could do everything there. He was definitely one of my inspirations, and somebody I admired and learned a lot from watching.
Yeah, nice guy too, Vernon White.
Yeah, he is.
I like that guy. All right, guys. So this is for a lot of younger guys that don't know this. In my humble opinion, I truly believe that Yves Edwards here is the unofficial, uncrowned UFC champion. Back in 2002, Zin's Little Evil Pulver was the official champion. He beat BG Penn to defend his title, and that was the last time there was a UFC champion at lightweight division. And for 3 years, up until like 2005, there was no lightweight champion. And then at this time, around 2005, Yves Edwards was a top dog. Josh Thompson, the punk Josh Thompson, Hermes Franca, Caruno. Those were the top dogs in the UFC for the lightweight. And you had this unofficial lightweight tournament where, you know, just those four guys would beat everybody, and it happened to have Yves Edwards in the finals, kind of with Josh Thompson, and that's the fight where Yves does the infamous, famous, you know, kick to Josh Thompson and KOs him. And at that time, I truly believe Yves beat everybody in 2005, beat every guy in the roster of UFC, and he should have been the UFC champion. But around this time, I don't know, UFC had no champion, and I'm not sure why they didn't. You know, can I get your take on that moment, Yves, sir?
Yeah, that was yeah, at that point, Josh and I were the number 1 and 2 guy in the UFC. I don't know who we would consider 1 and 2. We beat a lot of the same guys. I don't remember his run. I do remember him beating Hermes before Hermes and I fought. And but my fights were Rich Clemente, Hermes Franca.
You beat Caruno as well, right, sir?
Uno won a decision in our fight, but
Did
that
he
was
really?
my second UFC fight.
Oh, okay.
And after my fight with Uno, I went undefeated in the UFC
Nice.
until after the Josh Thompson fight. I don't know. I think it was like 6 or 7. I'm not sure.
Yes.
5 or 6 maybe. Anyway, from that time, yeah, Josh and I were the 1 and 2 guys in the UFC, and that fight was supposed to be for a title. And I remember it was deemed to not be for a title a few weeks or a month or so before the fight, because the UFC felt they couldn't support 5 champions with 5 shows a year. Back then, the UFC was only 5 events a year, and lightweights were the smallest weight class. Yeah, that really, that's one of my regrets in life. You know, I don't have a lot of them. I got like 3 of them, and that's one of them. I mean, real regrets, and I regret that because it's out of my hands. You know, it's not something I can do. I did everything I was supposed to do to be a lightweight champion, beat everyone that you put in front of me, and still didn't get the opportunity to hold that belt. That means a lot. There's a lot that goes along with that. I've actually yeah, I've done a lot of talking about that with people that talk to people about things, and yeah, that was a big deal for me. It's still a regret to know that you're the best in the world at one point, and it's not even in the history books. You know, fighters You ask fighters from that era. You ask fighters who were fight fans in that era. A lot of people don't remember that. A lot of people don't remember that era of the sport. A lot of people don't. When I say they don't remember that fight was not officially for a title. Some of the fight fans do know it, and some fighters do know it still. But it's just one of those things where it's just really disappointing. It's yeah, it sucks.
No, so sorry, sir. But to me, I've been fighting and I've been involved in martial arts for a long time, and to me, you are one of the first UFC champions, sir. I gotta shake this guy's hands just to say, hey, you get that camera. Yeah, shook, man. UFC champion, guys. Yves Edwards, guys. Yves, guess what? Time for the fan questions. Yay! Fan questions, yay! Fan questions, yay! First one is by Mayumi Tanaka. Who is your favorite Japanese MMA fighter, if you have one, present, past, or future, sir?
Like, see, when you ask a favorite, you're asking me for one person, and that's so hard to do.
Oh yeah, one in the past and one current.
Even then, even in the past, it's hard to give you just one because
give me two. Okay. In the past, you two. There, two.
Well, my favorite lightweight was Kaoru Uno.
He's dope.
But I still love Ruben Asado.
Yeah,
So that's hard to choose. I mean, but if you put a gun in my head and tell me I gotta pick one of them, I'm gonna pick Kaoru Uno. I love his style, and he beat Rumina twice, and I really like how I feel that Shudo wanted Rumina to be the champion, and the way Uno won the title and then defended the title and left that belt in the cage and walked away, that was pretty gangster. And then Sakuraba, man.
Oh yeah, Sakuraba.
You gotta love Sakuraba. He was the Gracie killer. I love Sakuraba because he beat all of the Gracies, but he beat my favorite Gracie, the one I have the most respect for, Renzo Gracie, with the awesome Kimura. And to submit a great, and Renzo never tapped, but I mean, it's still, I mean, man, that was a great fight. So Sakuraba is probably my all-time favorite Japanese fighter, and currently my favorite Japanese fighter is Shinju Akler. You know?
Oh yeah, the girl, yeah.
Shinju's pretty tough, man. She's fun to watch, and I like watching her come up over there. She's undefeated right now, and I'm always gonna root for her.
And her mom is like a famous comedian. Yeah. So she has money. Next fan question by Ernest Sanchez. Where is your favorite place to visit?
Ernest, my favorite place to visit is an ice cream store. It's called Amy's Ice Cream when they have Texas dirt cake. But if you're talking about countries, that's kind of hard. I haven't, of all the places I've visited, they're all really nice. Favorite? See, I love too many things. You guys ask me these favorites and want me to narrow things down to one thing. But I love to go home to the Bahamas because I love the ocean. I love to go to Japan because, like, it's like being in the future, you know? I love to go to Australia because it's like being in Narnia. It's different. You see these kangaroos and wombats and that just kind of, it feels like you're in a different world. I like Canada in the summer. Not the winter because I hate the snow. And I don't know. I'll find out how much I love Africa pretty soon because I'm going to check that place out, and that might be my favorite place. So,
nice.
All over the world. Yay. I love planet Earth. That's my favorite place.
I like that. Let's get planet Earth. I like that.